I guess from there, Jason, when we brought you back into the equation after you got off work, what were you hoping for or expecting and things of that nature?
Well, I worked a 10-hour day that day, so I was kind of wanting to get a nap in, but that didn't happen. Compared to the first time we were there, I don't know, there was definitely like more of a feeling, like more of a change in the overall ambiance of the place.
Well, I think too, when Jesse and I were there, doing the active EVP sessions and a bunch trying to interact with things early, I think that might have helped the activity later on a little bit. Oh, excuse me, but it was a different feeling. The first time that we went was literally almost 2 years exactly before we went back this time to film, and we had basically one good functioning camera. We had one of the cameras that we have right now, but we didn't have like a memory card in it or anything that we could actually film things long enough for it to be able to be worth anything. And we didn't have any of the extra like IR lights or anything like that either. So this time we were a lot more well equipped for filming and doing everything we needed to do. When it came to recorders as well, on top of the newer cameras, which we still need to get at least one more camera. But we got pretty good recorders. The quote unquote Pandoras, and then we've got a couple Olympus recorders that we like to use a lot. Which surprisingly, the one didn't really get a whole lot of anything.
No.
The one Olympus recorder that we used it for the first time when we did our Post Town episode back when, and it got some interesting EVPs on it. But we'll have to set them up. The next place we go, we'll have to set those up and just kind of let them. I know we don't like to listen to long periods of audio, but that seems like it's like when things happen on those recorders, it's if they've been sitting for a while and just recording straight.
And I mean, there was some damn good EVPs caught that night. Go to the Time Society's YouTube page, and if you haven't seen the video, and there are some pretty it's probably some of the best EVPs we've got to date.
And I'm going to see if it will actually function enough to bring up and play while we've got Jesse on the line here. Hopefully it doesn't boot her off or anything, so we'll have to set it back up. But hopefully that won't happen. I guess my kind of thoughts on everything, of course, it was kind of our game plan got changed a little bit. We can talk about this now. If you've seen the video, you saw that we were kind of helping out and almost kind of mentoring a younger group of guys. One of them is an aspiring ghost hunter. He likes to go to all the public events at the big prisons and things. This is what he wants to do. And I just hope he's prepared for the cost of it all. Yeah. Not just monetarily, but all the other cost of it. And the other two guys were kind of, they were iffy. They started to get more involved and more freaked out as the night went on. I think they started
one didn't talk except only to me for a brief moment.
Well, who are you going to talk to? Two big ugly douchebags or the cute girl?
Well, yeah, kind of. Okay.
See, that's where the line gets drawn.
Well, you guys are douchebags.
What?
I said you guys are not douchebags.
Yeah. Give it time.
Yeah, give it time. Give it a long road trip.
You haven't been around us that long.
Give it about a 4-hour road trip, and you'll be ready to throw us out of the car and drive home yourself.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be pretty fun. But our original game plan that we had thought up, and if believe it or not, we did actually have a game plan. It got changed up a little bit because the guys that we were filming with, the idea had been brought up to me a couple months before filming, that the guys were going, that they wanted to do a school project on the paranormal, was what I was told. And I said, sure, that's fine. We'll do whatever their project is, and we'll go on with our game plan and have a great time. But then I wasn't really reminded about it, so I kind of forgot about it. And we made up this game plan that didn't include any of that. And we got there, and then I was reminded, and then I was like, oh. So now we had to kind of change the game plan. We still accomplished most of the things that we set out to do.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that we had all the extra people around, which actually didn't harm anything at all.
No, overall, all in all, I was pretty happy with the night.
Yeah, because we did get a whole lot of what was the actual guy who wanted to be a ghost hunter. His name was Chandler. Yeah, his solo session got the most responses on the digital voice recorders of any solo session I've ever been a part of any EVP session I've ever been a part of. I think I had a grand total of 3. Mm-hmm. You had a grand total of like 1.5.
Yeah.
Jesse had, I think, 3 or 4.
Yeah, something like that.
Chandler had 14.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And most of them were pretty good. I had to cut some of them out because I just couldn't get them cleaned up enough to where they were, really audible.
Yeah.
But the ones that did come through, it was like, when I'm sitting here listening to them, it's like, holy crap, what's happening? And it kind of shocked me. And that, throughout the night, we thought that, like, something was going on around him. Because we had random responses that said something about Xenia, where he lives, and whatever else. And then the whole Kelly thing, which we originally thought had something to do with his mother. But to recap that, we heard a woman's voice, and actually a woman's voice got captured on the camera audio. That wasn't Jesse. That wasn't the woman who lives there. And then Jesse, why don't you say what your deal in the whole Kelly thing was?
My whole deal. Okay. I don't know. I was just I was sitting in that office area trying to warm up because it was like negative 12 degrees there. And I was just talking to, I don't even know what that kid's name, who didn't talk, but he was talking to me. And that Austin kid came in and he was all like pumped up and he was like, man, all sorts of stuff is happening. He was like, we're getting responses back. Someone laughed and there's a woman's voice. And I don't know why, I can't even explain how it happened. It was just like, I just knew, like, how 2 + 2 = 4. Like, I just knew. I don't know. I didn't have to think about it. And I was like, oh, her name's Kelly. And they're like, what? And I was like, I have to go tell them that her name is Kelly. And they said, oh, well, that's, like, Chandler's mom's name. So that's how we thought it was, like, having to deal with his mom.
Yeah, and we were already kind of, like, excited about some of the things that we were hearing and what was going on while we were down there. Because that was the room that you didn't want to be in, correct?
No.
That wasn't the room?
Did not.
Oh, okay. It was the room.
No, I did not want to be in that room.
Well, yeah, but we still made you do it anyway.
I know.
Which is going to come to it. If you feel really bad about a room, we're going to put you in it. I mean, that's just how the process works. You might not be by yourself, but you're still going to go in the room at some point to do something.
Cool.
That'll be a new segment called Face Your Fears. So, but yeah, so we were already kind of excited about that, and then she rushes down to us and starts saying all of this stuff with Kelly and the woman and whatever else, and we just had to stop everything that we were doing. We're kind of like, what in the hell is happening? Because there was no form of an inkling that Jesse had any kind of something going on. We fully expected her to come in, be an investigator, and call it a night.
Oh, hey, my mom is listening to. That was weird as shit.
Huh?
My mom just came into the room and she's listening to the radio right now, the radio show.
Oh.
Oh, hey. How's it
Hello,
going?
hello, Mom. How are you? I suppose she's not going to answer me, but hey. Anyway, so here comes Jesse calling out all this freaky stuff. And then we freak out a little bit more, cut all cameras off, and then kind of just stare at each other. And like, what do we do now? Because that was the only real response that I had. I had nothing else to say, which is odd. But when we have nothing to say, oops, microphone, that's kind of the whole, we've been shocked.
Oh, yeah.
But then turns out the Kelly thing, which we'll go to Jason now. And all this is explained in the video with the interviews that we did. So,
Yeah, so the Kelly thing, earlier that night, we were, I was filming, and Jessie was by what looked like maybe a nurse's station or something like that, and she said she was getting, like, something about secrets or something like that. Well, secrets, whatever. A few days before, and I hadn't told anybody this, but a few days before I mentioned to a lady I work with that, you know, we were going to Jamestown and then we were going on.
Cat's out of the bag now.
Anyways, whatever, nobody's gonna know.
Okay.
But she had known about this doctor who had gotten shot in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she had worked at a grocery store with a woman who was having an affair with the doctor, and that's as far as she took it. So, just curiosity getting the better of me, I asked her the day or two after when I worked with her again, well, what was this lady's name, if you don't mind me asking? Well, her name was Kelly. So the only thing I can figure is secret, Kelly, affair, tie-in.
And it's, of course, none of that can be 100% proven. It's speculation. Because we don't know what actually happened, and we'll probably never know what actually happened. We probably don't know all the information about the death of the good doctor either.
No.
We know that the guy is in, he's in Warren Correctional Facility, I believe.
Yeah, I think
now.
so,
I think at one point he was in Ross County, and then he went to Warren.
Yeah.
But he is alive and well in a prison cell. But we still don't know all the full details of what happened. The story goes, this gentleman was stealing either his mother's or his grandmother's prescription pills to get himself a little happy time. The doctor found out about it, and when he came to pick up more pills for his whoever, the doctor refused to give him anything.
Yeah.
So he came back a couple days later with his arm in a sling, wanting to see the doctor to get pills for himself. When the doctor refused to give him any prescription pills, he pulled a gun out, shot him basically point blank in what is the actual residence now.
Yeah.
And there he died. So there was that. But the Kelly thing, like I said, we can't really prove it. But it's too much of a coincidence for, first off, Jesse to get that name, which no one said anything about who Chandler's mother was to anybody.
No. And then
obviously him and his friends knew who his mom was, but we didn't know who his mom was.
Well, we were getting Kelly on the spirit box, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, but, when Jesse comes up and says the name Kelly, it's like, what? And then we figure it out. It's too much of a... To me, it's too much of a coincidence to not be something, I guess you can say. But overall, the whole night, even though we had the extra people and everything, I felt like that almost added like some fuel to the fire as we were going along and doing things. Like there was more people to feed off of, so more things were happening.
It was all the energy from the swishy coats.
Yes, the swishy coats. That's the one thing. If you go on an investigation and you have like a
swishy coat.